Hey folks, this is Chet Myers, and you are listening to Might Be News Network Radio. Traffic on the 2s, news on the 4s, but right now is Might Be Sports. That's right, it's not 80s sports or necessarily ladies sports, and though it may be sports or slightly sports, this is most definitely maybe Might Be Sports. Definitely. Maybe.
The following is a Just Green production, brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of April 29th, 2019. My name is Taylor Cooper. This is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What's up, bud?
What's going on?
What's up, CJ?
How's it going?
And a new addition to the show, Andrew DeCecco. He's been on here a bunch of times last season from Eagles Wire, USA Today. Covers a lot of incredible stories and different storylines. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to lately, Andrew?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be a part of this.
Oh yeah.
So basically, ever since January, I've been on this draft grind. You know, I've been to the East-West Shrine game, covering that, and then I've been on a lot of pro days. I've been to Virginia, Maryland, Temple, Delaware, covering all kinds of cool draft content.
That's great. I've been seeing you on Facebook. You're all over the place. And very busy guy. Just for the listeners that don't know and didn't hear you last season, how did you get into this? How did you figure out that this is what you wanted to do?
So it's kind of actually a funny story. So Kevin here, he and I were talking one afternoon, and he was like, "Hey man, you know a lot about football. Would you ever consider writing?" Because at the time he contributed to the site called Sports Talk Philly, and I was like, "Not really, man. I haven't really considered it." So I threw a draft together, sent it to him, and he sent it to the editor. And ever since then, I started writing for them. And then I did a big interview with Marcus Johnson, who's now on the Colts. And it kind of took off from there. And then I replied to a tweet from Teron Davenport, who's now with ESPN. He was looking for a contributor for the Eagles Wire, and I sent him some of my material. And he's like, "Yeah, can you start writing for us?" And ever since then, man, I've just been kind of taking it and running with it. You know, I've always been a big proponent of, when you're given a platform, it's up to you what you make of it. So I kind of just been running with it.
That's great. And it's amazing. It was great last season to kind of have you on from time to time as like our NFL insider. And now you're a permanent fixture to Might Be Sports, which is excellent. Kevin Reevy, how was your break?
Everything was great. And you know what really put the sugar on top? The icing on the cake.
What's that?
Was that 76ers win last night? Oh, yeah.
God damn it.
They are the best. I can't believe they got that huge road win. You know what? Now they got they call that a momentum game. They definitely won last night, so the series is 1-1. So we are all locked up in one, and you know what? Series is going to be coming back to Philly, and we're going to win those games and win the series. And the win just feels so good. Can you believe that play by Embiid by the end that really really just decided it, just ended it entirely?
I said before the show, we can't talk Sixers because every time we do, they lose. And this guy comes right out the box.
The game's on right now. The score is, it's like a Prudential commercial. So I don't know what the score is exactly, but they're up 14 points, and I feel good about it.
Good.
So I'm just going to say they're going to win because there's no such thing as a jinx. Doesn't exist. Sixers won last night. Just enjoy it.
It doesn't exist to you? There's no such thing? You don't get into the whole...
No, there's no jinx. Doesn't make sense.
Not superstitious
It's not
at all?
scientific.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
So jinxes aren't real. Goblins and that stuff. Climate change. None of it's real.
Wow.
None of it's real. All those silly little theories.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So did you enjoy your break? It was all good?
Yeah, it was great.
6 weeks off. What did we miss sports-wise? We missed March Madness. We missed the end of the NCAA tournament.
March Madness is the best time of year. That's probably my favorite sports time of the year. That Thursday and Friday March Madness, it's all a blur because you're just, if you're
First
like
round
me,
upsets and everything.
Yeah, if you're like me and CJ, we just go out and get drunk and watch as many games as possible. And unless you're really into it, and I'm not, I can't lie and say I'm super into college sports. I'm not into, minor league football, as you know.
Right.
So the college sport that I watch or try to is college basketball. I follow Villanova, but I really don't get into it until like a week leading up to March Madness, and then when it really kicks off. That was fun. That's like a holiday for me. And normally I take off Friday and just, get a little ridiculous on Thursday, drink lots of beverages, and be a little bit stupid.
What did you guys think of the outcome of the NCAA tournament? What did you? Are you happy that Virginia won? Do you think that Virginia even belonged? Did you really?
I won some money there.
Of course, Andrew does.
Nice.
Andrew's like the college guru. He knows things, mostly college football, but nobody works harder than this guy. As far as, if we could fast forward in like 5 years from now, he's going to be that guy in Philadelphia sports. I already think, Ray Didinger, he's getting up there in age. There's only so much he can do. He's got to pass the torch to somebody, and it's going to be this guy to my left.
Wow,
Mr. Andrew DeCecco.
I appreciate you saying that, man. I hope so.
It's
awesome.
all, skill plays into it. He's got the skills, you have the skills to write and all that kind of stuff, but hard work is like 95% of it, and that's what you have over most people. People say they want to do things. They don't actually do them. They just like to say they want to do them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's weird. I once heard a thing that said, if you say too much what you want to do, your brain thinks you already did it. So if you really want to accomplish something, like feel like you want to do it, but don't post it to Facebook. Don't say, this summer, I'm going to write that novel. I got a great idea for a book, or I'm going to write that script, or
just do it.
Just do it.
You're saying it because you want to speak it into existence, but it doesn't work that way. Your brain's going to feel like you've already accomplished it, and then you don't actually pick up the damn pen and paper. So, that's my speech for the day.
That's a good way to look at it.
Well done.
Here's my official. I want someone to take this and run with it for next year for March Madness. So think NFL Red Zone, but the first couple games of March Madness. So the closest score, they just cut to it.
Yeah, and just like bounce around a little
Yes.
bit. Yeah,
Yes.
I could dig that.
I'm down, because who wants to see these blowouts that they have?
But all the games are already on. It's kind of weird. I guess you could
Not everywhere. They don't have every game on.
Yeah, not at all of them. And then it's like the NFL. You have 4 games go boom.
Yeah, I could dig that.
So someone take that, run it. You have my permission. I don't want to do the legwork.
I don't do brackets. I have before, but it's not like something I do year after year, which I regret. I should get into doing that more, even if I don't follow it during the regular season, because that's my problem. I don't follow college basketball during the regular season.
Me either.
And so I have no idea what's going on. And I essentially just would probably pick the same couple teams every year, because that's essentially who it is anyway, right?
Well, so I've only done a bracket a couple times, and I've lost every year to normally women who I go, how'd you pick your bracket? Oh, those colors look good together. Better than that team's colors. So that was how I got defeated.
I want to get in on that whole tournament, wherever you're at. That sounds like fun, actually. I'd be into it.
Well, no, that's how they base. That's not how I base mine the couple times I did it, but that's how they base theirs.
What did you guys think of the Virginia game where the no call on the travel, the no call on I forget what it was. There was the travel was the big one though.
Yeah, that was a big one.
You know
I remember that, and I'm beginning to love bad calls. Because what I hate more is the overreaction, like what the NFL did with the Saints game and the no call on the easy pass interference there, which now there's some ambiguous rule where you can challenge those kind of judgment calls.
Just something that we warned against last
we were
season.
big on this last year, the clear overreaction. So that kind of made me, I'm now a fan of bad calls. If you want to have the human element, then bad calls are part of it. It's literally the human element means there's going to be failure. So the only way to solve that is to put robots out there, have everything reviewable, make it all with lasers, whatever you want to do. That's the way to solve it. Otherwise, don't bitch. And, if the call doesn't go your way, complain for, a day or two, then let it go.
Yeah.
And I think that's what fans seem to have done. And maybe it's because it's college basketball that it's on a smaller scale than, games leading up to the Super Bowl. But I feel like people basically kind of let it go.
And let's not forget, he had to make 3 shots. Like, that wasn't a gimme.
Right.
That wasn't easy.
Right.
And to his credit, he nailed them.
He did. Yeah, you're right about that.
Well, I mean, look at the backlash for the Warriors Rockets game.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I couldn't turn on ESPN today without hearing about the Rockets, Golden State, and the problems with the officiating that Harden has, and landing zones and this and that, and it's just like, Draymond Green is just like, I've been fouled by Harden when he's taking shots. Like, I don't want to hear about this stuff. It's like it gets to a point where I think that sports media, just like any other form of media, latches onto these things that get clicks, because these bad calls, no calls, that's a quick rapid fire opinion thing. Like, everybody has something to say about that. So, and it's all in the comments. You go through it. It's all over Facebook today. It's Harden, mad about this. CB3 getting thrown out the game, mad about this. And it's just like, who cares? Like, just play the game. I mean, I get the Saints game was a different thing because that shit was crazy. It was in the last couple seconds of the game, right? Or a minute of the game. And that play decided the game.
But
So
it couldn't happen to a better team, though.
I agree.
They're
I
still
agree.
crying about that.
Oh yeah, Sean Payton. The madder Sean Payton gets, the happier I get. So like, I'm on that side of the whole thing.
But
like,
you're right,
it
though.
sucks.
It was a monumental call right
it
there.
sucks. And let's face facts. I think the Saints and the Patriots would have been a much better Super Bowl. Anything would have been better than what we got this year, Super Bowl wise.
That was the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen.
Oh, it was horrible. Oh, it was horrendous.
Maybe the Oakland Tampa Bay in 2003, I believe, might have been worse. But I mean,
But this shit was horrible. It was bad. What else have we missed sports wise? Real quick, the baseball's back. It wasn't back when we left, was it? We were still in spring training mode, I think.
It might have been. I think we maybe we weren't. Yeah, I think.
No,
I don't think
it
we
wasn't
started
bad.
yet.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
we
You're
didn't
right. You're
start
right. Yeah, so I mean, might as well segue into hey, boys and girls, if you want to check out a really great baseball book
Hey, do it.
by myself and Ryan Spader, go
Plug
to
away.
theaceofspader.com. TheAceofSpaeder. That's right, Mrs. Messenger, my second grade teacher. I can spell.
Wow.
Check
Yeah. And
you
then
out.
just put a .com on the end of all that stuff. And you could buy a signed copy of Incredible Baseball Stats. Don't buy it off Amazon because they're awful. Go to our site instead, and we'll give you a limited edition sticker out of 1,000, and we'll sign it, and we'll write literally anything you want. You tell us what to write on it, we'll write something on there. If you want to write, maybe you hate your Aunt Claire, and you want to have like a hate gift to Aunt Claire and say, you know what, screw you, Aunt Claire. Nobody likes you when you smell like muffins all the time when it's inappropriate to smell like muffins.
Why would your aunt smell like muffins?
I don't know. And is it really inappropriate ever to smell like muffins? I think smelling like muffins would be a real
That's a good thing.
delight.
Yeah, I would take that as a plus.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so
I'm sure if we
Unless
sat down and talked, we could figure out 1 or 2 occasions.
I'm not a blueberry guy, so if it's a blueberry muffin, I might be a fan.
he's like, how many muffins are you making, Aunt Claire? Jeez. And how come I'm not getting any muffins? Oh, yeah, because I'm your least favorite cousin. What did I ever do to you?
If you go to one of those places where everyone has to be gluten-free for whatever reason, and you go in there smelling like muffins, that might be offensive.
I could see that, yes.
But anyway,
What
check
else?
that out.
Yeah.
And also, the new This Today in Philadelphia Sports is coming out too, but this is sounding ridiculous. But real quick, we got a new forward for This Day in Philadelphia Sports, Gritty, the mascot for the Flyers. That sounds like a joke. It's actually not. Gritty wrote a forward. It's the first long-form Gritty piece that I think has ever been done. And it was really hard to have the Flyers and the NHL sign off on something like that. So we're kind of, it's kind of a silly thing, but it's also kind of cool. So
That's
check
definitely-
that out.
Is Gritty in the book now as far as like
Yeah,
when he
Gritty's
was
on
instated and-
the cover. We got Nick Foles holding the trophy. We actually have a pretty unique photo of Nick Foles. It hasn't really made the rounds. So
You
We
didn't
got
include
some-
my Philly special tattoo, though?
oh man, you see that's
kind of a big part of it.
it was supposed to go in there. See, there was an issue, and I don't think we previously discussed it. So now we're gonna have a fight on the air right now. All right,
Sounds good.
so here's where I screwed up.
Ring the bell.
Here's where I screwed up. It's weird. Like,
He forgot to send the email.
I was doing multiple books at the same time, and what's crazy is that the baseball book came out.
It's actually in the baseball book.
The baseball book came out like a month ago, so I assumed like I would have like everything would be on its own timeline. So when like the baseball photos were due, I assumed I would have at least a couple weeks till the This Day photos were due because they're coming out like months apart. And then all of a sudden, I get an email saying, "All right, so we're all set. Here's the book." And I'm like, "Oh, all right. Well, all right. I have some photos to insert." Oh, whoa, wait. We're past that stage. I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, we never discussed stages. Like, this is." And I'm like, "Why can't you put them in? It's going to mess up the page numbers." Like, well, why didn't you tell me? Like, this is ridiculous. I still have some pretty freaking cool photos to put in there, including. So Andrew's got this amazing photo of him with well, you tell a story.
So Trey Burton, he was doing a signing here in last April, and
The one who threw the Philly special touchdown.
Yeah.
Right. But this is like he had just signed with Chicago, so he's probably not going to come back out this way for a while. So I got in touch with the people that were doing the signing, and I said, "Hey, look, I have this idea. Is there any way that it's possible to have Trey draw it on my forearm with a Sharpie? I have a tattoo appointment. I was going to go right from here to get it tattooed on my forearm." And they were like, "Yeah, we don't know how we price it up, but yeah, we can do that."
Wow.
So they brought me in the back, and I get to talk to Trey and get a photo with him, and we talked for like 5 minutes. He draws it on there. People were taking videos and everything, and it was cool, man. So yeah, there it is right there.
Wow.
He's got the Philly special tattooed on his arm, and it's unlike any other you'll ever. Because it's
that's personalized.
better than a signed football.
That's huge. Yeah.
It's
And he put it on his Instagram and everything, so it was cool.
That's really cool. That's really neat.
and I really wanted to get it in the book, but I mean, I guess it's. You know what? I'll take full responsibility.
But it'll be in my book then.
Exactly.
There you go.
There just wasn't
There you
like
go.
a clear discussion of when things are due. And you would think these kind of things are very laid out and particular. I would just say to everybody out there listening, you'd be surprised how many mistakes are in books. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Chris Wheeler, they printed his book. The first edition that came out has his birthday wrong. Somehow it just got written wrong, and it went out, and his own birthday in his own book is wrong. So it's just one of those weird things. It happens with every damn book because nobody really knows what they're doing. It's a million people talking to a million other people, and it's a pain in the ass.
I think that's just your publisher.
I was going to say, it sounds like a whole bunch of excuses.
Yeah, because Novak's publisher hired former FBI agents to fact check his book.
Wow.
Since they did that book A Million Little Pieces and Oprah ripped that one to shreds.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there's not as much tight scrutiny over This Day in Philadelphia sports. So,
It's true. It's true.
whatever. What were we talking about?
One other thing that we missed, which Andrew has a lot of knowledge about, is the NFL draft. It just happened this past weekend. Andrew, I know that you've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of college athletes. How did the draft go for a lot of those guys that you've kind of formed a friendship with, and certainly like communicating with them pretty regularly?
Yeah, so I took off this whole week just for that because I invested so much time. I got to know these guys throughout the whole process, built relationships with these guys, and just to see them finally have their moment. Some of them, they might not have been going until day 3 in some cases, but I'm just sitting there and I'm nervously sitting there just like they are, and they're texting me. They're like, "Dude, do you think I'm going to get drafted? Do you think it's going to happen?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." And it goes through, and you start to see their names go across one by one. And then my one guy, Mike from Temple, who we actually became pretty close throughout the whole process, it got down to like the last 5 picks, and he was like, "Man, do you think it's going to happen?" And all of a sudden, name goes across the screen, and that was, needless to say, like that one hit me pretty hard. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What are some of the teams? Where did some of these guys go?
So Mike from Temple, he went to the Arizona Cardinals. Ulysses Gilbert, the linebacker from Akron. He went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I'm already planning a couple days where I'm going to go to Pittsburgh training camp and check him out, and
Sure.
hopefully have dinner and catch up. And and who else? Donnie Lewis Jr. went to the Browns. I have Jimmy Moreland went to the Washington Redskins. So yeah, we're going to see him twice a year now. Let's see. Tim Harris went to the 49ers, and Jordan Brown went to the Bengals. So it was a huge day for me, but I was almost as stressed out as they were.
Yeah.
I have a rule where I don't like to draft guys that have normal dude names, like Tim Harris. I think, like, how could a guy like Tim Harris be good? He's Tim Harris. Like, he's a superstar football player and also head at, the IT department at work. Like, Tim Harris.
I'll tell you why you need to like him, because he runs a 4.43, jumped the 39-inch vertical, and he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school.
And he's a whiz at restarting my Windows 2000.
Not that Tim Harris.
I don't know. I don't, and it's totally dumb, but just the way I feel like.
I feel you on the name thing.
That's not scientific, dude.
No, people that use 3 names more likely to be a murderer.
Really?
Yeah.
Statistically?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So who
What do you mean? It's hard to
totally
segue off
like
that.
thinking of people who have fucking 3
Lee Harvey
names. I'm like,
Oswald?
holy shit.
Yeah.
I thought we teed up the next subject
John Wayne
perfectly.
Gacy. Yeah.
People love true crime. We got to weave that in.
Yo, we do.
This
I think we
might
need to
be
have
sports.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sometimes it's not.
It might
I don't know.
be.
Stats fit into the sports arena, so that's what we're talking about.
Might be murder.
Serial killer analytics.
Wait,
It might be serial killers.
might be murder. Seriously, might be the next podcast on this network.
Might
I
be.
swear to God, might be murder. It's just too good to.
We're doing like some serious investigating, just like sucking ass at it, not finding any clues. Well, we found nothing this week, guys.
Yeah, we drank beer and
Another killer got away.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that would be a real thing?
The first 48 are 48 away.
yeah, that one got away from us.
I was at a wedding with my girlfriend last weekend, and I mean, I don't want to get into it, but it was at a water treatment facility, or a former water treatment facility. Let's not go down that alley. It's just a weird long story. It was still cool though.
If you're in
It was
Lancaster,
cool.
don't drink the water. Kevin may have peed in it.
So we're looking at like these like pools of water, and like I'm just joking with my girlfriend, saying like, "Is that? Do you see a foot over there?" And she got excited. Like this is a thing where like she's not alone. We all know this. Women, ever since the whole like true crime thing became like a thing, women are psyched about murder. They love themselves some murder and some murder mystery stuff, some dead bodies. They're all about it.
We watch Forensic Files a lot when we go to bed. We do.
Women are violent.
The ID channel is actually very interesting.
It is. But back to the NFL draft.
Thank you. I don't know how we quite got down that road, but
So who do you guys think collectively? Who do you guys think won the draft? Who do you guys think lost the draft? What moves surprised you?
I thought
The thing about John Wayne Gacy is that he was just misunderstood. And
I thought
No,
the
I'm sorry.
Oakland Raiders had a great draft, and I thought the Washington Redskins had an outstanding draft as well.
Who do you think had a bad one?
I mean, it's kind of
A lot of people talking
people
about the
say
Giants.
Giants.
I mean, besides the obvious, the Giants. I also wasn't a fan of the Eagles' day 3 picks, so I'm kind of a little picky there.
Okay.
I thought there was a reach to get Sharif Miller from Penn State. I thought he would have been there in the 5th or 6th round. Charles Omenihu from Texas was there. I liked him. And the quarterback, I like Brett Rippon better than Clayton Thornton. So
What do
Thorson.
you think about the quarterback the Giants got? Where would he where did you have him ranked amongst the quarterbacks? He was the 3rd one taken or 2nd?
He was the 2nd, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was
after Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Yep.
I had him as a 2nd round, late 2nd round, early 3rd round pick. I don't think much of him like as a prospect. Like when I watched him on tape, it wasn't somebody that jumped off the page. Like I think he didn't seem like the best leader. His arm talent wasn't like he's not a strong thrower. The offense was pretty basic. He wasn't doing like he wasn't. I look to a quarterback to be able to make the guys around him better, and he wasn't doing that. He didn't inspire a lot of confidence. He didn't spark the offense. I'm happy going to the Giants because I was hoping it wasn't going to be Dwayne Haskins, so I had a much higher grade on.
Yeah.
but he went to Washington.
That's who went to Washington, right?
I was reading a story. I don't know where it was from, but it was the day before the draft, and they were talking about how the Patriots might look to him. What's his name again? The guy the Giants took at quarterback.
Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah. So Daniel Jones, they were talking about, and I forget where it was from. Sorry, I don't have it pulled up.
He went to Duke.
From like Bleacher Report or something, but it was a day before the draft, and it was saying how this is the perfect guy for the Patriots. I think maybe they had some inside information. The Patriots had been scouting this guy, and I wonder if there was like a Patriots effect on the Giants. Like the Giants and Patriots are kind of like tied together because of the Super Bowls and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know, any team in the NFL is going to try to emulate the Patriots. And I wonder if that kind of story, if the Giants were already leaning that way and they hear the story about the Patriots being interested in this guy, being the next Tom Brady, if it kind of put them over the top.
Do you think, though, too, that the Patriots are the type of organization that would, like, scout somebody just to get the word out that they're scouting some garbage-ass quarterback?
Yes.
They do that.
Yeah.
And it could, because they're always traditionally a team that kind of keeps all their top 30 official pre-draft visits very quiet. So if they put something out there, it's that they want you to know it.
Right. And so, like, if they're just like, oh, yeah, we're checking out this loser from Duke.
Yeah.
So somebody like the Giants goes ahead and picks him in the first round. I don't know.
They're probably laughing about it.
Yeah. I mean, the reactions, the instant reactions on social media for that pick were hysterical from like Giants fans, just distraught about it.
It was great meme stuff.
It was good stuff. It was. What do you guys think about Kyler Murray? I know we briefly talked about him last season, but I don't know if we talked about him with you, Andrew. He, and correct me if I'm wrong, made history by being the first player drafted by a Major League Baseball team and an NFL team in the first round of the draft. Is that how it worked out? Because he was drafted by the A's.
Really high.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe in like the first round, but maybe I feel like, John Elway, I believe, was drafted. I don't know if he was a first round pick, but I feel like he could have been Dave Winfield.
What about Bo Jackson?
Yeah, possible. There's a lot of guys that I feel like it's possible, but there's so many rounds in the baseball draft.
Because Russell Wilson, he plays baseball sometimes in the spring. I don't remember. Is it for the Mariners? I think it is for the Mariners.
Yeah, I think it's been jumping around. I don't know if he's with the Cowboys now or whatever it is. Not the Cowboys. I mean, the who's the other evil empire team? The Yankees.
Yankees. Yeah.
You're
Right.
He's the
right.
Yankee.
He is with the Yankees.
And it's just a PR thing.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
I think it's just for them having
but
fun.
there's so many rounds in the baseball draft, and there's like politics that go into it. So I was actually asking Andrew. We were watching the draft at the time. Whether the Jones pick for the Giants was one of those things where they cut a deal with him and said, hey, we'll draft you here if you'll agree to less money. But there's like slotting things where I think the money is already guaranteed. So that can't really be going on. But that's what happens in baseball all the time. Like the top 10 picks, nobody, unless there's like a sure talent like Bryce Harper or something out there like that, it's a negotiation. That top 10 is a total crapshoot. And guys sneak into the top 10 that have no business being there because got these teams are kind of cash strapped. Like if the Padres have the number 3 pick, and let's say there's only 2 guaranteed dynamite prospects, they're going to take whoever takes the least amount of money. And it could be the 20th best prospect.
What is Oklahoma? Are they Pac-12?
I think they're the Big 12.
Big 12, okay. I don't follow that division or whatever it's called. Is Kyler Murray, I know I've heard about his size, I've heard about hand size, things of that nature. I know he didn't do the combine. Is he worth that number 1 pick, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think if you're a new coach like Cliff Kingsbury, you want to tie yourself to a young quarterback, and it's kind of hard to justify passing that up. Not only that, but you're buying yourself time because you're not surrounded. It's the Cardinals. They're not a great team right now, so you have to get yourself that young quarterback that you can grow with and be like, hey, I know we didn't do well, but give me a little bit more time with this guy.
Yeah.
And they drafted like 3 receivers as well.
Yeah, I
so
saw that.
I mean, they took my guy Andy Isabella, which is another guy I got a chance to interview. They took him at the end of the 2nd round, and he's going to be a big time player. And they took Keyshawn Johnson, another guy that I talked to, not the Keyshawn Johnson that you're thinking of, the Fresno State Keyshawn. And yeah, I mean, I think he'll be good. They have to just surround him with talent. They have David Johnson there, so
better than what's his name, Josh Rosen, who they sent to Miami.
I like Josh Rosen better as a quarterback, personally. I think Kyler Murray is going to be able to do more things on the field, be more dynamic, obviously. But I think as a traditional quarterback, I like Josh Rosen, and I really thought they gave up on him too fast.
Yeah, it felt like that. It felt like because he was a rookie last year, correct? Was last year's rookie?
Yep.
Right.
So that's odd to me.
I have two issues with the Kyler Murray thing. And the first one is, like, I don't like any prospect that, like, you know, when they were playing, everyone's saying, no, it's like a second, third round pick. And then he stopped playing football. The season's done. And then he became the number 1 overall pick. What happened? How did he jump 2 rounds in that?
The class was very weak this year.
Of time. But still, like, everybody
As
knew
far as
what the class was going to be when they
Very
were actually
weak.
playing football. So he didn't play at all to increase his stock, but his stock increased to the number 1 overall pick. Now you might ask, what caused that? That's my number 2, where all of a sudden he's 5'10" and 1/8 inch.
Yeah.
And I have a big problem with that because it's like, oh, let's wait to see what his official height is. So his previous height was unofficial. It was wrong. How with the computer technology and all the technology we have, they have no idea what his height is, really.
Yeah, right.
Really. And again, it's his official height. He knows this is the height that's going to make or break his career.
Right.
Are you telling me for 2 weeks leading up to that combine, whatever it was that listed his height at officially 5'10" and 1/8 inch, that he didn't have people stretching him out? He wasn't hanging upside down by his ankles from those things. He was paying professionals to stretch and get every last centimeter that they could possibly get. Of course he's 5'10" and 1/8 inch. He has to be. He got taller. He did everything he possibly could. I wouldn't be surprised if he found a way to, like, sleight of hand, step on his tippy toes. But I guarantee he's not 5'10" and 1/8 inch. In real life, on that football field next year, he's going to be 5'9", like he's always been. He's 5'9". It's just the way it is.
But he'll have cleats, so.
It take one measurement, and everyone falls for it. Every single person. I'm the only one. And when you're the only one talking about it, yeah, you're probably wrong. You're
definitely wrong.
You're probably the crazy person. But why does everyone accept this as the truth?
Because the combine, that's the official measurement. Like, there's nothing you could do there to fake it. Like, you're literally standing there.
Stretched out. Who was it that had tiny hands? The tiny hands quarterback from like 2 or 3 years ago, where everybody was wondering, should we draft this guy because his hand size is
Jared
small?
Goff, wasn't it?
Was it Jared Goff?
Yeah, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
And people were saying that, you know, there are exercises you could do to stretch out your fingers and all that stuff when they do the official measurement. If that's the case, you could do it for your whole body. You just can. It's a thing. Google it.
It worked
Google
for
that
OJ
shit.
in the glove.
Scientific.
So I'm just saying, all you don't have to get an extra inch. You just get a little bit more. And it's a little weird that he wasn't 5'10" on the nose. It was 5'10" and 1/8. So you don't want it to be exactly 5'10". The 1/8 makes me think it's even like total bullshit, and somebody was paid off. I don't know. I don't like that 1/8 inch.
But
That's
if you
all
go
I'm
down
saying.
and look at the list, like, it's all like official measurements. So like, you're gonna get the eighth and the quarters and all that other. Like, it's very like it's exact.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's just.
Like, let me tell you a funny story of what you were able to do back in the day when Andrew Hawkins, who went to his pro day, he got clay from the store because he's only 5'6". He put clay on his heels that matched his skin tone, and he got himself an extra couple inches to make himself 5'8" at pro day.
That's awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
And he had little 2.5 pound weights that he put in his pockets to make himself to add 10 pounds.
So there's like legit ways to do this stuff, and I wonder.
That was back in the day when it was a little bit more lax. Now you have to like strip down to like literally like everything, pretty much. Like you can't you're in your bare feet. Yeah. Like you can't do anything to hide it.
You're like those UFC fighters going in there where they have to make weight, so they have to strip down completely naked, and they throw the blanket up
there.
Well, there was the one guy about a year ago. He kept coming out. There's a time limit or something, or they only let you get weighed 2 or 3 times, and it was his last time. It was coming in right under the wire. He kept getting overweight, so he comes out completely naked. They put the towel over, and you see him grab the towel. And I'm not saying like he's using the towel as leverage, but we're talking he needs to shed a half of a pound. If you put a little bit of weight on that towel, just a little bit of weight, you can take off a half pound off of a weight. Try it at home. Step on a scale, and a little bit of leverage one way or the other takes a decent amount of weight off. And I remember that thinking, this is bullshit. How can they allow this? But of course they do, because there's money to be made. This is a fight. Everybody looks the other way.
Right.
Think about how many X-Lax he probably took in that time period until he came back out on stage.
But the other thing is, it's scientifically impossible to lose. He walks backstage, 1 minute later comes back, and he lost a pound. It can't be done. He didn't have any more liquid in his body. He would have already expelled it before taking the first 2 times on the damn scale.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. During this break, you're going to learn a little bit. We got a new show on Might Be News Network. CJ, Foundation Radio, correct?
Yes.
Best of episode coming out Thursday. They're going to be on every other Thursday. When it's not Novak and Franz, it's Foundation Radio. When it's not Foundation Radio, it's Novak and Franz. Best of episode coming out this week. And then next week, we got Novak and Franz. And after that, this is their first episode with us. It's their first time being in a uncensored environment, which is going to be a blast for these guys, because they had a show at Westchester University that they did regularly, and we're crushing it over there. But the thing is with that is that you got to keep it clean for the FCC.
They couldn't say things like balls.
You can't talk about penetration.
Yeah.
You can't talk about anything entering
going in or out.
In or out. Nothing in or out. So that's just a guideline. They're going to talk about a lot of.
They couldn't say dingus.
But we were on there. CJ and I went over there. They had an alumni show over the weekend.
Penis.
It was fun. Yeah, you can't say penis where they're at, but now they can.
Boobs.
I would assume they're going to say it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs that are in full swing.
Sixers won, yeah.
If the Sixers have lost,
Celebration.
you can completely blame Kevin Reevey for it. We also have Rapid Fire and an all-new Go to the Week for the season premiere of Might Be Sports, exclusively on the Might Be News Network.
Loud, brash, controversial, and now completely uncensored. Foundation Radio is joining the Might Be News Network. Foundation Radio, exclusively on the Might Be News Network podcast. Just search Might Be News Network to listen and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and everywhere podcasts are found. New episodes every other Thursday.
Welcome back to the season premiere. Might Be Sports.
Oh, you feel that? That bed music
Let's
right
get
there.
ready.
That's
Here-
just
the beat's about to
Damn.
drop right now.
now I'm getting in the mood.
Yeah.
Drop some hardcore sports on y'all.
I've been busy in the break, making a couple new beats. I got a new Go to the Week sounder. You know what? Fuck, CJ. I forgot the rapid fire. I should do a rapid fire sounder. God damn it. I swear to God, I'm going to have it by next week. I swear to God.
All right.
It
Sounds like a plan.
It slipped my mind until right now. Fuck. It's a complete failure of an
Man, we were
offseason.
just talking about being uncensored. Uncensored. You dropped 2 F-bombs. You took the Lord's name in vain like 4 times. You tried to prove a point. The point's been proven, my man.
I apologize to your mom.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen Taylor sweat so much in my life trying not to curse on.
Oh God, yeah. When we were on Foundation Radio, their alumni show down at Westchester, like, don't curse, you can't curse, dude. I was bugging about it all day long, all day. It's like I curse as a comma. It's like a comma in a sentence for me. It's just that's the way it is. It's the way it's been.
I'm
for a
pretty
long
good at
time.
it now. And I bet, Andrew, you're probably pretty good at that too. You do like a lot of podcasts and radio shows and stuff, so you're used to that kind of thing. But still, I don't really love doing it. I think I dropped a frickin' in this show, on this show alone. I just don't like it. I don't know. I mean,
It's not a bad thing.
I know we can. It just
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I don't know.
It's all good. I just, for some reason, And I know how to turn it off. I turned it off. I made it through that whole thing, that whole experience without cursing. I didn't even come close. And I'm respectful around grandparents and things of that nature. But
Children.
as soon as I get, children.
Taylor's a good boy.
Just look out, because if I see a parent curse around their kids and it's over, then the veil has been lifted, and I go in sometimes.
I was golfing today, and this group was like a half hour late. And if anybody out there knows anything about golf, you can't be late. Like the time
Right.
means like this is when you're starting to play. And this group came late, and they were like heavy Delco. Like they were still drunk from the night before. And there's this elderly group that's like of these elderly ladies in their 70s, easy, like going off after us. They're right there, and these guys just show up just like being Delco and being drunk and just dropping F-bomb after F-bomb. And I'm just looking at these ladies the whole time, just wide-eyed. And just like, oh, man, come on.
Sorry, ladies.
I wanted to apologize on their behalf, but I mean, if they're probably from Delco too. If they had the chance, they would probably join right in. Who knows?
I'm just surprised you were on time.
Funny story, I wasn't. They were just later than I was. Moving on.
NBA playoffs.
Yes.
They are happening literally as we speak. So in the West, all that's left is Portland versus Denver, Golden State versus Houston, which has already proven to be a very intense series. Now, Portland and Denver starts as we're recording later tonight.
And remember that point in the Sixers game last night with like 6 minutes left in the third quarter where they were up by 6 points, and you're kind of wondering, oh, they're going to squander the lead, and they ended up still winning at the end? That was the best.
If you haven't noticed, Toronto's starting to come back a little bit. I'm bugging.
Yeah, because there was only 4 minutes left in the third quarter. They're only up by 6. And somebody important. So Greg Monroe is going out, to get some help with an apparent injury. You're like, oh no, this is bad because Embiid's already hurt. No, and then they still win by like 15. It's crazy.
Oh my god,
You're the worst.
you're the
It's
worst.
crazy how that happened. Anyway,
So Philly and Toronto in the East. Boston blew out Milwaukee the other night in Game 1 of their series. But that's all that's left. Who's showing you what right now? I mean, obviously, if the Sixers win tonight, that's an even series. Toronto took Game 1. Obviously, it feels like the game that's being played right now between Philadelphia and Toronto is a must-win for the Sixers.
Absolutely.
I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the Sixers. We've talked a lot about the Sixers. We try not to be a homer show, but we fail at that pretty much every week. I'm concerned about the Sixers. I've voiced my opinion multiple times about Ben Simmons. I'm very critical of Ben Simmons. I enjoy watching Ben Simmons play basketball a lot. He's very fancy with those cool passes he does. He's good at dunking the ball, obviously. But realistically, besides that, I don't understand what the major appeal is.
He hasn't stepped his game up over the last 2 seasons. Like, he's the same guy.
I just don't get it. Like, he stepped up in a major way against Brooklyn in the first round of the playoffs this year.
But his game hasn't developed.
His game hasn't developed. Like, his intensity he can amp that up a little bit. But, God, he would be unstoppable if he had a mid-range jumper.
Absolutely. He'd be one of the best players in the NBA.
He'd be first-round All-Star every year.
Yeah, so you're already admitting that the rest of his game is pretty good then.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
it
fantastic.
is.
Don't get me wrong. He's
So they're-
fantastic.
Right.
But what happens is, and you can see it against Toronto, just like you saw it against Boston in the playoffs last year, they don't have to cover him. They
Right.
don't have to. They can pretend that he doesn't even exist. They for real can on defense.
Yeah.
They can pretend that Ben Simmons doesn't exist because as long as they get in the paint and they've got that covered, Ben Simmons isn't doing anything.
Right. And until he develops that part of his game, teams are going to continue to do that, and he'll be a one-dimensional player.
He's got his foul shots better this season because that hurt him last year. Because then if they didn't cover him, they would just rush him and foul him because he's going to miss these shots.
Right.
And at least he's gotten that better. And I've seen him obviously take more jumpers this year than I feel like I saw him take last year. I even saw him shoot a couple threes this year, which wouldn't have happened last year. So there's hope there. I'm just concerned. The other thing I'm concerned about with the Sixers is Embiid. I think that they need to do a better job of managing his workload during the season so that they can keep him healthy for playoffs, especially if he's got this knee tendonitis shit that doesn't apparently go away. I mean,
well, they said for tonight he had gastroenteritis.
It's that Chick-fil-A, man.
It's one of those things where, like, seriously,
right.
like,
what is this?
the NBA has to stop with the players running the teams. And it seems like they let Embiid do whatever the hell he wants. And no, what comes first is the fans. Like, if they don't show up, you have no team.
Right.
So you have to respect the fans.
Good point.
And, number two is the logo, the team itself. Like, everybody wants to think that they're, player first and they're behind the players. No, they're behind the team. Players come and go. So Embiid needs to respect that he's not, one or even two in the hierarchy. And he needs to respect the fans, respect the team, and, get on the right diet. Hey, this is your job.
Right.
Like, when I go to my job, it doesn't matter, like, what I eat. I can have Velveeta shells and cheese, and it doesn't matter. But he can't be, like...
Did you hear about his diet with the Chick-fil-A and how much he consumes? Like, how much they make, like, the rookies get the food for those guys?
Yeah,
it's like
Landry,
a crazy
I think
amount.
Shamet was on some show, and he's like, yeah, and he was like listing everything that he had to get for Embiid.
It's craziness. It's craziness. I'm not. I don't know if. What do you think if they lose in the second round? Is Brett Brown gone?
I think so. I mean, you get to the same spot that you made it to last year. You start to wonder if you're just plateaued. Like, he was a good coach for the process, but I think you need a better coach to take them to that next level.
Right. Somebody who's going to push.
But I guarantee, and this is just the way it works now. They're not letting Brett Brown go unless they have a candid conversation with some key guys, and they're going to say, "How would you feel if we let Brett Brown go?
Right?
Would you still re-sign with us?" And they'll talk to guys that the two key guys whose contracts are up. And Embiid, ironically, Embiid might not be part of that conversation because he's already locked up. Ben Simmons will be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's weird.
And then the other
it's a
two
weird
were
dynamic.
Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, correct? Are those
right,
the two
right.
players you're
I mean,
talking about?
yeah. So, I mean, I got to think they're going to sign one of those guys at this point. I don't know which one. Yeah, it has to be one of those guys.
I feel like at this point, Butler has shown more.
I would do Jimmy Butler because he's that veteran leader that kind of keeps he's like the glue, I would say. And you need that with that type of team.
They've been talking about it a little bit because he's definitely got the leader mentality on the floor and you can see it. But as far as like in the locker room, he's too new apparently. So I think that like if they keep Jimmy next year, he'll be like kind of like he was in Minnesota, calling people out. Yeah, we lost tonight. It'd be nice if Ben Simmons could shoot a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why nobody's talking about it. I don't know why nobody. I mean, obviously people are talking about it. It's a national discussion, but for crying out loud, you're a professional basketball player, viewed by a lot of people as one of the best up and comers that there is in the NBA, right? The Fresh Prince. Will Smith had a jump shot. Straight up. He's got to get it together. He's shown me a lot of improvements. He's better on defense this year. I think Jimmy has something to do with that.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, I don't. It feels a little bit like it could be a Chris Webber thing, where like we got Chris Webber at the tail end of his career, and it was kind of just garbage, and it led to like a snowball effect of them just totally getting themselves in cap hell, and the Sixers were screwed.
Blame Big Dog Robinson.
So yeah, I kind of wonder if that's kind of the deal. Like if they align themselves with Jimmy Butler, is that kind of going to be the same deal?
So for that,
But that was
reason,
so many
are you
regime-
kind of leaning towards
I would re-sign Jimmy
Tobias?
Butler now, but
Right.
is Jimmy Butler now going to be the same Jimmy Butler next year and the year after? If he's
Right.
not, then I don't know if it's worth it.
How,
Right.
how old is Butler? Was he 31?
He's on the wrong side of it. I know he's at least 30, I believe.
Yeah, I think
He might be 30.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I wonder what those guys that don't seem to have any like other. I mean, he's great on defense. So there's that, but he doesn't have like the other ancillary skills. Like he doesn't have a 3-point shot.
Right.
I don't think he's known as like a great passer or he's good on defense.
He's mostly
and
defense.
He finds a way to score.
He seemed to work himself into some kind of a closer role for the Sixers.
That's what I like about him.
And it seems to work out pretty well. I mean, obviously, what was it, the big game 2 against the Nets? He was ejected, and they still closed out that game, which was great to see. Michael Scott was big in that, and I think that Michael Scott.
Yeah, how about that addition?
Dude, I like Mike Scott a lot. I know he's hurt right now. I think they're expecting him back game 3 or 4. A good off the bench guy. I think they just need to work on their rotation a little bit. I think
a good question now, especially because they're playing the Raptors. Is maybe it's an obvious question. They for sure should have traded for Kawhi Leonard, right?
Absolutely. I was just talking about that today.
1,000% yes.
Because instead we got two guys who's like the whole knock was like, oh, well, you trade the whole team for Kawhi Leonard,
right?
A guy whose contract is up at the end of the year. We traded all those guys for 2 guys whose contracts are up at the end of the year. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking he would re-sign.
It's worse because now you have 2 empty roster spots instead of 1.
I mean, yeah, he might consider going to LA, but the way LA is kind of in shambles right now.
Right.
If he was with our team, and I shouldn't be like a homer and say our team. If he's with the Philadelphia 76ers and he's got Embiid and he's got Ben Simmons and he's the guy, he's the main, he can be the main guy on that team, the one to score, take the last shot, all that kind of stuff. And first of all, they'd be insanely good. He would want to re-sign with that, right?
Yeah, why not?
I don't think he would then take a flyer on a Lakers team that missed the playoffs.
No, and I think he's going to the Clippers. P.S. I do.
That's also weird, but it could be. I mean, you never know. He could also re-sign with Toronto. I think that'd be a weird move because Lowry's getting older, and he's. I mean, maybe he changes things the playoffs this year, but he's not a playoff player.
Yeah.
But it's weird. But also to go to the Clippers, really, why would that be a move that would make sense? Who do they have?
Nobody, and that's the point. If he goes to the Lakers, he's not the guy. He's not even close.
No, I think it would appeal
and also,
to him.
If you want to talk about a team in shambles, that's the Lakers right now.
I think it would appeal to him to prove how much better he is than LeBron next year. Because LeBron can only do it for so long.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think the best way to do that wouldn't be to be on the same team as LeBron.
I mean, everybody's going to have their shot at LeBron when they play against him. No matter what team he's on, he's going to get to play against LeBron. But to be on the same team, and for maybe the first time in his career to be better than LeBron on the same team, that might appeal to him and try to squeeze whatever's left. And, LeBron's one of those guys, has the ancillary skills. Once, one thing fades, has incredible passing ability. The defense will still be there. He can become a good player later on in life. Same way Michael Jordan was. He was pretty damn good with the Wizards. Everyone forgets. He got hurt. But they were over 500, and that was a shit team. It was Rip Hamilton, him, and like nobody else. That was a decent team, and Michael Jordan was having a pretty damn good year, and he got hurt. He was averaging 20 points a game.
We're running out of time. Let's do some rapid fire. We're going to talk plenty more about the NBA playoffs because we still have a month and a half left of it. 2 months of it. It lasts forever.
It's not as bad as the Stanley Cup playoffs, where hockey fans, they are so annoying. Nothing's more exciting than the Stanley Cup playoffs. Why? Because the regular season meant nothing.
Yeah.
And the
playoffs are like half the length of the regular season.
Half the teams make the thing, and the best team in the whole season got swept in 4 or something. Yeah, that means your league is garbage. It means nothing. Not to shit on hockey entirely, but those are the facts.
CJ.
Baylor women's hoops. Fast food at White House. Coach unimpressed.
So I guess it's like what they do for all of them now. They did it to one.
Yeah, I guess he's doing it for all of them now.
Trying to be fair, I suppose. It's fair.
Well, I mean, what, they were going to be impressed by it? Like, what's the alternative? I mean, of course.
They used to get
impressive meal.
Yeah, no, they used to get like meals made in the White House kitchen.
Well, right. But I'm just saying, with the way politics is now, they're going to pick the one person that says they're unimpressed, and it's like, oh, that's the key opinion. How about what if like 90% of like all the players like this is awesome? Well, who cares? The coach said they were unimpressed.
Game of Thrones creator George R.R. Martin rips New York Giants. The team sucks.
No argument there.
Yeah, I agree.
Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game score sheet sells for $214,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
These things are just going like astronomical
Crazy.
prices right now. Like that's the sign of a good economy where people like spend money for bullshit. They literally do not know what to do with their money.
You see somebody spent like $1,000 on Reggie White's driver's license.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy.
I mean, I would like to have that kind of money where I could just throw it away on meaningless things.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like that means something to them, but like,
Right.
you know, senseless.
Right. It's totally senseless.
Tony Hawk opens restaurant with skate tricks.
That's pretty awesome. Yo, let
What
me
does
just
that
tell you
mean?
that Tony Hawk, first of all, Tony Hawk is a great Instagram follow. This guy is old as shit. Well, not old as shit, but old as shit compared to what he was when we were kids, when he was making video games and da-da-da. This guy still has it, man.
He did 50 new tricks for his
50 new
50th
tricks for
birthday.
his
Wait,
50.
what does
Wow.
open up
Unbelievable.
a restaurant with skate tricks? That's like, hey, I opened up a bowling alley with provolone cheese. What does that mean? Like, I opened up a bakery with guitar solos. What is
He was
skate
doing
tricks?
He was doing tricks.
Yeah, he was doing
He
tricks.
was doing. I thought the theme was skate tricks. That's the.
No.
I don't
He
get it. I
set
don't
up-
understand.
He set up a vert and did tricks and then cut the ribbon.
How old is he? He's gotta be
That's
like
cool.
60.
No, he's
Yeah, like
51.
50. Is he? No, yeah, 51,
Because-
52.
yeah.
That was like last year.
He
or
might
2
still
years
be
ago.
50, 51.
Okay.
No, see, like that's cool to me because you're getting tricks right there from
So
one of
awesome.
the best ever doing.
Yeah.
it. So,
So awesome.
Because I mean, 50 new tricks for his 50th.
What's the name of the
birthday.
restaurant? Did he say that, or did you?
No,
It's called-
it didn't.
Tony Hawk's
pro
roast pork.
skater. I don't know.
New York Giants draft pick Corey Ballantyne suffers gunshot wound.
Yeah, I saw that, man.
Wow.
You know, it was off campus at Washburn. So, I mean, the second, it's a shame you don't know the whole story. Like, I don't know the whole story, but you know, second you get some money around you and people know that, you know, you gotta watch where you're at. I guess.
I'm sure they assumed he had the money right in hand.
Yeah,
and
I mean-
probably tried to rob him.
Right.
But it's also like he's a D2 guy. They got drafted in the 6th round. Like money, like not really. Like how much money is he really getting?
But his name was on TV, so
Right,
people assume.
that's
That's
just
real.
a really
And
dumb
you know,
assumption.
like you
shame.
said, he's coming from D2 at Washburn, so people are gonna be like, "Oh, he made it." Like, you know, all it takes is somebody to see him, and they're like, "Let me, you know, get
I mean,
in a
after
bad situation."
taxes and like agent fees, like he owes money when he
Yeah,
gets drafted in
But
the
they don't
6th
assume
round.
that.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
Robert Kraft, prosecutor calls his lawyer asshole in court.
Yo, they're gonna release the tapes of this guy.
He
They
might be
have to under
finished.
Florida law.
He's finished.
I want to see these tapes.
You are too excited for these tapes. And, you know, anybody that's too excited, why? Who cares?
Dude, my whole
Because
thing is
why
like
do you
that's
wanna
devastating.
see-
That's
I am
devastating.
curious how a 70-year-old billionaire picks up 2 Asian spa hookers for a threesome. That is my whole thing. I'm curious how it went down.
Yeah.
I'm so not interested in anyone else's sex life. And I know for some weird reason that puts me in the minority. It really does.
I just like anything with the Patriots. It's like a scandal. I just find it fascinating
And then I also
because
wanna-
they do everything like perfectly. So when they have like a little blip on the radar, it's like everybody just can't wait to hear
Gotta
what
dig
happens.
in. Yep.
I also want to come on here as soon as it's Beeler. Did everyone see Robert Kraft's little ding ding?
And I will say no.
One more, CJ.
I have one more. So
One more.
Meek Mill can't travel to 76ers playoff game in Toronto. Judge ignores request.
Oh yeah, you can't leave the U.S. I guess, right?
Yeah.
Is he still under like? Is there still trials and stuff going on?
He's still
I
under the
think
whole
it's just-
probation
Yeah,
thing.
just probation.
I don't know
Bummer.
about any of that stuff.
It's a
I mean, I know Taylor, you disagree, but
I mean,
know.
Kevin celebrated the weekend hard.
I feel like I need to put it in air quotes when I call him an artist. I don't want to be that guy like music today, but music today. Seriously, what is happening?
Kevin, you're just jealous that the Sixers sent him a helicopter and they haven't sent you one yet.
Yeah, I would like to ride in a helicopter someday.
And just land and just go right into the Sixers game.
That'd be pretty cool.
All right. It's time for the Goat of the Week. Here we go.
Might Be Sports presents the greatest of all time.
Of the week. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. All right. So I'm not going to really dive into it all that hard because it's spoiler related. But I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. My Goat of the Week is absolutely Arya Stark. It can't be anyone else. Straight up, as far as fictional characters go, she had a great week. Andrew?
I'm going to go Howie Roseman. You know, you get a franchise tackle who I had rated as a top 12 player, the top rated tackle. You get him to protect Carson Wentz. You get a top 3 running back in Miles Sanders at 53, and you get a big possession receiver for the red zone in AJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Great. He had a good draft. It was, like you said, kind of strange in a couple of spots, but like key pickups that we needed or that the Eagles needed. Yeah, it was a good pick. Reevy, what do you got?
All right, my Goat of the Week is going to go to the Dodgers' Cody Bellinger. This is via the Ace of Spader, Ryan Spader on Twitter.
It's very obscure. It can only come from one place.
Last 30 games played. This is just tweeted out by Mr. Spader. Last 30 games played. Cody Bellinger is batting .421, 916 slugging percentage. 30 games played, 31 runs scored, 38 runs batted in. Now think about this. 30 games played. He's hit 15 home runs to 14 strikeouts. And right now, Cody Bellinger is leading the league in runs, hits, home runs, RBIs, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. Those 3 averages mean he's leading in OPS because that's what OPS is. He's leading in OPS plus, total bases, and is a pretty cool dude. He's actually really good at baseball, and he kind of gets like forgotten a little bit. He's a weird guy. Like he's a big dude, but you don't think of him that way. He's got kind of like a baby face. He's like a baby face assassin, man. He's like 6'4", but he looks just like kind of unimposing in the batter's box. But he's totally killing it this year and quietly potentially having like a Mike Trout kind of year.
Wow.
Where like he could enter that's, these are the kind of years that, Mike Trout and Bryce Harper had to put them on the map. And, he's 23 years old having this kind of year. If he keeps this up, I mean, obviously he's not going to keep this up. If he bats 400, it's going to be an all-timer. That would be amazing, but we'll see. So far, greatest of all time of the week. And hey, if those stats and more, go to theaceofspader.com and order your autographed copy by myself and Ryan of Incredible Baseball Stats 2019. A lot of new information in there. Check it out.
Excellent. Excellent job tonight, everybody. Real quick before we leave, I just want to say new season for everybody here at the Might Be News Network. Again, new show starting tomorrow with the best of episode for Foundation Radio. Another couple changes that we've made. All episodes are available on YouTube now as well, or we're in the process of getting all of them on YouTube.
And we're going to have awesome guests. We didn't really want to have one today because we had too much to talk about and introduce. So we had Andrew to introduce for this season.
For the season.
But and we didn't get to talk about Survivor.
That's true. We're going to have to recap that next week.
We're going to have another Survivor guest. We're going to talk about maybe the Survivor finale in a few weeks. We're going to have... I would love to get Scott Pollard on to talk about that because he's an actual guy, played in the NBA, and had a pretty amazing season on Survivor. That would be a great get. So I'm going to work on that.
I got to brush up on my Survivor stuff.
Survivor is, come on. Would you rather watch an episode of Survivor or hockey?
I don't know. It's a toss-up.
Come on.
One more
thing. I'm going to plan a day of that. It's going to be the 1st of Neverwary, so I expect to see you there.
One more thing before we get out of here. We are also in the process of setting up a network Patreon page. Now, I'll give you a ton more details next week. We're going to have 3 tiers. There's going to be incentives. There's going to be monthly giveaways. And on top of that, you can expect up to or more than 2 hours of bonus content per week for all patrons. The shows are going to start going over into a 90-minute episode. Not all of them and not all the time, but we're going to try and do it as often as possible because if you're paying to help support the network, we here at the Might Be News Network want to make sure that you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. That's what we're trying to do. So stay tuned. We're going to have more details coming up about that. Again, incentives, monthly giveaways. It's going to be a very, very big deal. Exclusive behind-the-scenes content, plus just flat-out bonus content for all your favorite podcasts on the Might Be News Network. It's about to be incredible. I'm Taylor Cooper, and I'm here to tell you that Season 2 is going to be the craziest thing that we've done yet, and it's only going to get bigger, and it's only going to get better. CJ, great job tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kevin Reevy, it's wonderful to be back here with you.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm very excited to be doing another season of Might Be Sports, especially with the addition of Andrew DeCecco here. Thank you so much for wanting to be a part of this with us and to come over and just talk some sports every week. We're gonna have a great time.
Thank you, man. I'm
excited.
excited.
We're gonna have some great guests this year. I even have 1 or 2 lined up that I'm looking at.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm working on some things. So again, thanks for listening. Be sure to come back next week and check out these other shows on Might Be News Network as well. MBNnetwork.com. It's never been easier to find your new favorite podcast.